Hello and welcome to today's yoga session where we're going to be focusing on arms, shoulders and balancing. So I encourage you to get down onto a seated position. Make sure that your sit bones are underneath. Feel yourself relaxing onto the mat. We're going to deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Now I just want you to bring your arms all the way up, stretching really high up and then coming down beside you. Now I'll turn to the side so you can see. I want you to be sitting in a seated position with your legs crossed. Your hands on your knees. We're just going to do cat and cow from a seated position. So you're bringing your shoulder blades apart, curving your back round, bring your chin to your chest. Then as you inhale, you're going to bring your head all the way up and back, shoulder blades together and curving your back round. Then with an exhale, reverse chin to chest, curving the back, belly button in, head all the way down. Then with an inhale, head all the way back, curving your back as well, shoulder blades together. And then releasing yourself. Here we're going to come onto our hands and our knees. We're just going to fire up the core just ever so slightly because you really need a lot of core support with what we're going to be doing. So bring your left leg straight out behind you, your right arm straight out in front of you. You're going to bring your elbow to your knee. So your right elbow to your left knee, touch together, and then bring all the way out. Then bring them together again. Breathing in. And as you exhale, all the way out. One more time. Elbow to knee, breathing in. And as you exhale, come all the way out. Then releasing the right hand and the left leg and bring the opposite right leg up, left arm up. And we'll do the same, inhaling knee to elbow or elbow to knee. Release. Inhale, elbow to knee. Exhaling, release. And then inhaling, elbow to knee. And exhaling, release. Then bring both your hands and your feet and your knees onto the ground and we'll come down slightly into child pose. Breathing in, coming all the way back up. This time tucking your toes underneath your feet, you're going to push yourself up into down dog. Walking your feet out. Breathing in and out. Pushing your shoulder blades away from you. And then you're going to come up onto your toes, bring yourself up and round and into plank position. Holding yourself here, pushing your hands really into the ground, so you're really pushing yourself away. Keeping the core tucked in. Pushing yourself up and back into downward dog. Again, pushing your hands into the mat and really feeling your shoulder blades extend. Then coming up onto the toes, over and into plank. And then holding this position here. Breathing in and out through the nose. Stomach tucked in. And push up and back into downward facing dog. This time we're going to come up onto our toes into plank. And then pushing up and back and bring your right hand to your left ankle or as close as what you can. Maybe it's only the shin, maybe it's the back of the knee, but just try and really push your left arm into the mat so that you can get as close to the ankle as possible. Then release, back into plank. And then the opposite, so the left hand to the right ankle. Pushing that right shoulder, the right hand really into the mat, pushing it up and away. Then release back into plank. Opposite again, right to left, right hand to left ankle. Pushing up and away. Don't forget to breathe. Back into plank. Left hand to right ankle. Pushing the right arm into the mat and up and away. Very nice. Back into plank. Back into downward dog and walk your feet up to the top of the mat. And just let yourself hang here, bringing your hands onto your elbows and swaying from side to side. Breathe in and out. Then just to get ourselves a little bit warmer, we're just going to do a quick flow. So you're going to come all the way up and all the way back down. Halfway up, tabletop, and release. All the way up and little back bend. And all the way back down. Now walk or jump back to plank. Lower yourself to chaturanga. Up to upward facing dog. Back to downward facing dog. Walk your feet to the top of the mat. All the way up. And all the way back down. Halfway up. And release. All the way up. Little back bend. And all the way back down. Step or hop back to plank. Lower yourself to chaturanga. Up to upward facing dog. Back down to downward facing dog. And walk your feet to the top of the mat. All the way back up. And all the way back down. Halfway up. And release. All the way back up with a little back bend. And all the way back down. Step or hop. Plank. Down to chaturanga. Up to upward facing dog. And back down to downward facing dog. And just walk your feet out. I seem to be cracking all over the place today. My ankles and then my shoulders. So it's very important to warm yourself up before you do anything. Breathing in and out. So from here, you're just going to walk yourself back up to the top of the mat and just release yourself down so you really feel that you're coming up and over from the hips. And you can even walk your legs out if you still feel you need a bit more movement. Going to come back all the way up. Little back bend. All the way back down. And then step into plank. From here, lower yourself slowly to chaturanga. And up to upward facing dog. And then tuck your toes in. Back to downward facing dog. And this time you're going to lower yourself into dolphin pose. So you're simply going to bring your elbows onto the mat. Really pushing your shoulder blades into, like your elbows into the mat, your shoulder blades up and away. If it's too difficult to have your feet flat, you can bend your knees slightly or have your ankles up off of the mat a little bit. Try and really relax into this pose, breathing in and out. Tucking in the stomach. And again, constantly think about pushing your shoulder blades away. Elbows pushing into the mat. Then you're going to lift your elbows up off of the mat and into downward facing dog. And again, really pushing the shoulder blades away. Breathing in and out. Then once more, we're going to come back down to elbows. And then back all the way up to downward facing dog. From here, you're going to shift your weight up and over into plank, lower chaturanga, up to upward facing dog, and back down to downward facing dog. Then again, lower yourself down to dolphin. Hold the pose. Tucking the stomach in and controlling your breathing. Then try and bring your elbows up off the mat at the same time. So really pushing your hands into the mat. Realign your shoulders so that you're pushing them up away from your ears. And then slowly lower your elbows at the same time if you can onto the mat. Hold in this position. Really feel your shoulder blades firing up. These are normally our weaknesses and we don't realize it because we never have to use them in such a way. And slowly raise yourself back up. You're going to come up and over into plank, down to chaturanga, up to upward facing dog, and back up, back into downward facing dog. Bring your feet to the top of the mat and just let your arms release and move from side to side. Bring your hands back onto the mat. Walk yourself back into downward facing dog. You're going to raise your right leg up into three-legged dog. From here, you're going to bring it up and through. So you're going to come up onto the toes of your left foot, bringing the right leg up and through so that you get your knee to your nose, or as much as you can, and then raising it all the way back up. Then back up onto the left toe, bringing the right leg through, knee to nose, and raise it all back up. One more time. Left foot up onto the toe, right knee towards left nose. Left nose. To your nose. We don't have more than one. This time, you're going to bring the right knee to the right elbow, to the left elbow, to the right elbow, and back up. Again, up onto the toe, knee to right elbow, right elbow, and back up to three-legged dog. Breathing in and out. One last time, bringing knee, right elbow, right elbow, all the way back up, releasing back into downward dog, all the way back up. You're going to bring your right leg up and behind you, and you're going to come in to wild thing. So you're raising your hip up to the sky, your left leg is on the mat, your right leg is right behind you, and only your left arm is on the mat, and you're pushing yourself up. Then turn back into downward facing dog, raising your right leg all the way up into three-legged dog again. You're going to bend your right leg and bring it over to your right elbow and lay it on top of the right elbow. You're going to bend your left elbow underneath your left hip and try to balance from here. And when you're ready, you can also straighten out the right leg. And just hold it for a few seconds. And when you're ready, back into three-legged dog, down into downward facing dog, and release yourself into child pose. Working on your shoulders and your arms can be very challenging, especially if you don't really use your arms for your sport. That's also why it's so important to work on it so that you feel a little bit more balanced. So coming back up into all fours, toes tucked underneath, and into downward facing dog. Bring your left leg up into three-legged dog. You're going to come up onto the right toes and bring it up and through and bring the knee to the nose. Then release up and back. Then bringing the left leg through towards your nose. And all the way back up. And then again onto the right toes, bringing the left knee into your nose. And then all the way back up. From here, you're going to bring the left knee to the left elbow, right elbow, left elbow, and all the way back up. Coming up on the toes, left knee to left elbow, right elbow, left elbow, and all the way back up. Coming up onto the toes, left knee to left elbow, right elbow, left elbow, and all the way back up. You're then going to come into the opposite side on the wildcat, so bringing your left leg behind you, right arm on the ground, left arm up and back, raising up your hips. Then coming back into downward facing dog, raising up the left leg again. You're going to bring the left knee to the left elbow. We're going to balance right elbow onto the right hip and raise your right leg up. And if you can also straighten out the left leg. And bring yourself back into downward facing dog, then back into child pose. And you're going to slowly come up. And we're going to do a little bit of plank variation, which is everyone's favorite, I'm sure. So come up into plank. From here, you're simply going to come slowly down into chaturanga. And from here, try to push yourself back up into plank. Inhale, down to chaturanga. Exhale, up into plank. Inhale, down to chaturanga, and pushing up into plank. Releasing yourself, going into child pose. Taking in a deep breath, coming back into plank. And this time from plank, we're going to come down onto our elbows. So lower plank. Tucking in the core, keeping your body aligned. And coming back up into high plank. Again, tucking in the core, really feeling that shoulder and arms burning and knowing that you're growing. Coming down onto your elbows, the lower plank. Maybe you're like me and you even feel yourself shaking a little bit. And coming back up into plank. And from here, lower the knees, come into child pose. Now take this class as you wish. If you feel like you can stay in a pose for longer, then please feel free. If you feel like it's too much, then just come into child pose. It's your class. And coming back up into plank. And from here, turn onto your right foot, your right hand, and you want to raise your left arm up to the sky. And just hold this position. Pushing your arm into the mat, or pushing your hand into the mat and your arm away, and you're kind of raising your hips up towards the sky so that you also feel a little bit of a burn on the side abdominals. Then coming back into plank and turning over to the left side. Breathing in and out, pushing your hand into the mat, then release into plank and turn into your right side. Left arm raised up. A whole lot of side body, but still pushing the shoulder blades, using that shoulder muscle, building it up. And maybe you're shaking while you do this. It's okay. It means you're growing, you're working, you're getting stronger. Back into plank and turn over to the left side. And come back into plank. You're just going to lower yourself down into child pose. And bringing yourself up, we're going to do crow pose. So if you haven't done this before, you're coming in like a little bit of a small little squat. You're aiming to have your knees tucked in between where your armpits essentially are. Your hands are hip width distance apart, fingers spread out. You're going to come and raise your glutes up. And you're going to try and like fit your knees into your elbows essentially, like into the elbow socket. And you're just going to find your balance here. And then raise the toes up off of the ground when you're ready. And if you can even bring your toes in to touch each other. And then release down. Give your wrists a bit of a turn because you put a lot of pressure on your wrists. And actually it would be good if you make sure you warm up beforehand. The way we do the flow, it warms it up automatically. But if you're feeling extra sore here, then it's always good to do an extra little hand or wrist warm up before you do any kind of poses that use your wrists or your arms. When you're ready, you can come back into the position. Hands hip width distance apart, fingers spread out, knees in between the elbow sockets, and then lifting up your glutes and coming up into the crow pose. And once you have your balance, bringing your toes in together. And then releasing yourself. Giving your wrists a little bit of a shake. Then from here, we're going to come onto our elbows and we're going to attempt an elbow stand. So if you are new to this or you've not tried it before, I really recommend using a wall. Just gives you like that added extra support. If you feel quite comfortable, then you can try it without and just see how you get on. It's exactly what we've been doing with the dolphin pose. You're now just raising your legs up straight. So you want to kind of remember that you're pushing the shoulder blades away. You're really using your elbows on the mat as your stability. So you have your elbows on the mat as if you're really doing dolphin. Then you're going to come up into dolphin pose. From here, I like to look forward between my hands. Tuck your stomach in, and from here, just simply kick up and see how long you can hold it for. And raise yourself down. Now, this is really what you feel comfortable with. It's your practice. If you're using a wall, you can hold it for a lot longer. You just want to make sure you're really pushing your shoulders away from your ears to ensure that you are not too reliant on the wall and you're really strengthening the shoulder blades. So when you're ready, you can come up and try it one more time. And lower yourself back onto the mat into child pose. Then coming up, we're going to go and sit down. And we're just going to stretch out those arms a little bit. So come into with your feet hip width distance apart, your knees bent. I can't talk today. And you're just going to push yourself up into bridge. Your hips all the way up to the sky. And pushing your hands down onto the mat, feet pushing down onto the mat. Then lower yourself back onto the ground. Breathing in, we're just going to do the same, lifting the hips up to the sky. And you can even straighten your legs out in front of you. Just ensure that the hips are still up. Head all the way back. And from here, release yourself onto the ground. You're going to bring your hips a little bit back, feet together, toes together, knees together. Then raise yourself all the way up and come up and overhead. And release yourself. If you feel more comfortable, you can bend your knees slightly because you really want to feel like you're getting your hips up and onto your chest, onto your thighs. Raise your arms all the way back up. Bring your hips a little bit further back again. Then you're going to tuck in your stomach and bring yourself up and all the way over again. And just release your head down. And come halfway up. You're going to come into all fours. We're just going to stretch out those arms. So bring your right arm all the way up to the sky. Bring it down and under through your left arm and bring your left arm out and flat in front of you and head onto the mat. Try and also bring your hips ever so slightly down. But it's not so important. It's more about stretching out that right arm. Coming back up into all fours. Bring the left arm up and underneath. Right arm out in front of you and head on the mat. And raise yourself back up. You're going to sit down onto your feet. Bring your head down to the mat. Clasp your arms behind you, that the hands are together, and bring your arms up and behind so you really stretch out your shoulders. And you're going to bring yourself back up. You're going to bring your legs round. Come down to seated and hug your knees in towards your chest. And bring yourself all the way back down. Roll yourself from side to side. Give your spine a little bit of a massage on the mat. Then you're just going to release your legs down into Savasana. Palms facing up. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Close your eyes. Let your body relax. Just giving you one more minute. Just that little extra time for yourself. Bringing yourself back into balance. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Thanking yourself for the time that you've given to be here on the mat, to work on maybe your weaknesses, to make it one of your strengths, to grow stronger, more stable. And no matter what the outcome was today, you know that you gave the best of what you could with the energy that you had. When you're ready, you can bring your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a little rock. Bring yourself up to seated. Thank you very much for joining me today on this arm shoulder balance session. I hope that you enjoyed it. I know that it can be a little bit challenging, especially around that area. It can be most people's weaknesses. And it's something that I've also developed over the years, and I'm sure that you will too. If you found it a little bit challenging, then I do hope that you try it again. And every time that you do it, it becomes easier and easier. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for the time that you took today for yourself to be on the mat. And I hope to see you in the next session. Namaste.